Alright. Welcome to another one of BumpmyStump's World of Tanks videos. This is the continuation of the Garage series, Bump's Garage. This was supposed to be merged with the Tier 5, but I didn't end up doing it, so you'll notice it's kind of an abrupt start, but hey, deal with it, you know what I mean? Hope you enjoy it. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks. Alright, as we continue here, I had to take a break and had to restart doing the Tier 6, or split the video anyways. I will put it back together and now merge them in production, so hopefully it's not too big of a jump there. We're going to continue on with our tiers 5 and 6 garage video here, and we'll start off with the Sherman Jumbo. The Sherman Jumbo is one heck of a tank. It is the heavy duty American medium at tier 6, and it's slower than normal mediums. However, when angled correctly and played correctly, it can be quite the troll little machine. Since the Russians, this is a common theme that I've been talking about, since the Russians and newer tanks have come into the game, it's not quite as great of a tank as it was, but it's still, you know, if you play it smart and you're low tier, you can still do good. If you get a top tier game, you can do really good in this tank. You know, angle that armor. The actual angle of the armor is really good, and it's thicker at the front than the normal Shermans. And you give it an angle, something like that or so, that front plate, and she'll bounce a lot. Bounce a real lot like there if you're not showing the side of your tank. So yeah, that's like almost auto bounce territory if you can get away with not showing the front of the side of your tank to whoever you're shooting. So I really like the Jumbo. When I first played it, I read the things, you know, there's heavily armored, and I was kind of disappointed with it, because when you're new to the game and you read that stuff and you're like, yeah, this is going to be awesome, but then you get in it and it's like boom boom, you're getting panned in here and there, and you don't know how to play it yet. And it was like that, you know. It took me a little while to get used to it, but I've kept it all this time because it's an awesome tank. It really is. Look at the info here. 102 hull armor, 76 on the turret, 51 on the sides of the turret, 76 on the sides of the tank. Standard pen is 96 to 166. HVAP. Isn't that a term they use in HVAP? In air conditioning or something? High velocity anti-penetration? I don't even know what HVAP stands for, but whatever it stands for. High velocity armor piercing, I bet you that's what it is, because the first is AP armor piercing, high velocity armor piercing, right? I could be wrong there. I'm horrible with the terms of the tanks. I should start studying them, right? Anyways, 133, 221. You know, you get 221 pen on the high side. That's pretty good for a tier 6. You know, HE, of course, you get low pen but more damage, but I still think the best is, yeah, I'm a premium shell whore. You see 15 premiums on my loadout. I carry a tank rammer, improved vents, and of course to say normal, small, and manual. 35 speed limit. It takes a little while for this tank to get up to it, but it will do it. 370 view range, that's not bad, really. I mean, for tier 6. So it's good enough. And the tank itself, it's what I keep on it. Let's see. Equipment, I already said. Customize. Let's see our different, this one I'm going to do camouflage for the heck of it. That's a permanent camouflage I have, and I think it looks pretty cool. And there's the other one. I love that camo in a lot of these tanks, the American tanks. I think that camo rocks. And this is the free one they gave me. I haven't changed it because I don't play the tank enough, but it's kind of cool. So, yeah, Sherman Jumbo, definitely worth going and getting if you're going up the American line. And you have the option at a choice. I don't remember exactly how it splits on the American line. Well, we can look really quick. See, it's been so long since I had that tank that I don't remember exactly where it splits. If it splits onto the Jumbo, Jumbo splits to the heavy, right? Is that how it works? We come up right here, and you come off the M4. You can either go with the Jumbo, which can split to the T20 or the T29. So that's the way I went. I went to the M4, and then went to the Jumbo, And then I went both, the T20 and the T29. I got them both, but I went up the heavy line first. So instead of doing the T1, M6, T29 at first, I went the other way, medium, medium, and then went down to the T29. And then went back later and got the T1 heavy and the M6. And I don't regret it. They were all good, you know, all good tanks. So, yeah, Sherman Jumbo, definitely worth getting. Definitely worth keeping. Fun tank. Troll at times. Definitely worth playing. Next one we got is the Easy 8. We're going to do the Easy 8 and the Fury. Pretty much the same, because they're the same tank. Just this one looks sexier. You know, see all the stats right there, pretty much, except for the armor, is pretty much identical. And the armor being what it is, I don't think that little bit that it moves there makes any difference whatsoever. I guess the speed, the health's a little bit higher on this one too, isn't it? Yeah, just a hair higher. So the Fury was during the movie, the Fury, you could buy that premium tank for those of you that didn't know that. And I'm pretty sure they will not offer it again. So this is like a really ultra rare one that a lot of people bought. But I'm pretty sure if you were not part of World of Tanks, you know, 9 months ago, whatever, when Fury came out, you're never going to own one of these. I could be wrong. World of Tanks is odd like that, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to purchase this. It was only a movie special. And it's a cool tank, it really is. And it comes with the War Daddy for your crew member, your captain, commander, whatever. But that's basically the same tank as the M38, M4A3E8 Sherman, which is a good tank. I didn't have this way back. I skipped it, and I went back and got it later, and it was worth getting. It's quick, maneuverable. You don't jump right in the front line with it. Either one of these, you play like, I've done a couple platoons of like Wolfpack and Furies, and you know, you have 2 or 3 people the Fury, and then another person had the Easy 8, and we rocked. It can be a really good tank if played right. We'll go look at this. 64 millimeters, 76 millimeters on the turret, 61 AP shells, 10. I carry 10 of the high velocity armor piercing. Medium caliber tank, gun rammer, and vents are on this tank. We'll go over the Fury, and we're going to see, a little bit more armor, actually. I didn't realize that. A little bit more armor on the front of the Easy 8 turret, but a little more on the sides of the Fury turret. I never knew that. And the back, 64, 64, 64. Huh. Didn't know that. And the chassis rotation is a little bit better on the Fury. And I thought they were pretty much identical. I could have been wrong, but I thought when I got the Fury it was identical. Maybe not. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But as you see on this one, it came with a medium caliber, vertical stabilizer, and improved vents, and I've kept them. 51 regular shells, 20 of the premiums, and yeah, it's the Furies. If you had a chance to buy it, you're awesome. If you didn't have a chance to buy it, sorry, dude. Even just the looks of it. I mean, look at the gas mask on the front, and the wood on the side of it. All of the tanks should look this good, and you look at the model of this one, it's just not quite up to par. The Fury is really good, and it's a good tank. I won't sell the Fury. It's tier 6. It's an awesome tank. Then we're going to go on to the M6. The M6, another tank that I hated when I played through it, because just like the tier 5, the T1 heavy, it is so big. The tank is just humongous, and you've got that big fat ass sticking up, and you would think that how big that is, and the way this tank looks, that would be like 4 feet thick, you know, just like a solid. I mean, I run excavators and everything, and on the back of an excavator, a lot of excavators for a counterweight, or even a big forklift or a small forklift, the counterweights on them are just like, you know, 2 feet solid steel. You would think that's what this looks like it would be. It looks that thick on the back, but then of course you got to know there's an engine and stuff in there, and so it's not as thick as it looks, but it looks like it should be really thick. But yeah, this tank, it's not bad. I've had some really good games. Well, I can say that about almost every game, every tank I've had really good games in. If I don't have really good games in a tank, I'm probably not going to show it to you on this list, because I probably don't have it anymore. But tier 6, if this plays right, the gun will do its damage. Fairly decent reload, fairly decent penetration. We'll go right up there. 120 to 200 with premium. You're talking 182 to 304. So I mean, at tier 6, 182 to 304, if you run premium shells, you can pen just about everything. Just play somewhat smart. If you get a high roll, you should be able to pen anything at tier 6. I mean, I don't think there's a tier 6 that if you get a high roll, you shouldn't be able to pen easily. Equipment I have out of this tank, because I don't play it enough anymore. But I've kept my consumables on there. But like I said, a lot of times what I'll do is when I need money for the bigger tanks, I take equipment off the lower tanks. So, I mean, and it gets expensive. You know, you start putting large gun rammers, 500,000 here. I mean, you go through $1 million in a second. So, 102 for front armor, 102 for turret armor. So this tank can really, really take a beating from the front if angled and played correctly. Good tank. Let's move on to the Hellcat. The Hellcat is the best tier 6 tank destroyer in the game, in my opinion. Of course, I haven't played a ton of them, but this tank is so versatile. If you want to play it like a medium, you can. If you want to play it like a scout, you can. If you want to play it like a tank destroyer, you can. The only thing you can't play this tank as is a heavy. There's no way you can get away with that. But if you want to zoom out in front of everything, get to a good hiding spot, this tank can do it. If you want to play like a medium and flank, as long as you keep in mind that the turret traverse is fairly slow, other than that, this tank can do it. If you want to sit back and snipe, this tank can really do it. Of course, it's an open top, so artilleries love it. It is an artillery magnet, and you will die quick when they start lobbing shells in there. So I've learned to play this tank more like a tank destroyer. I sit back and I just snipe. It doesn't have the most accurate gun in the game, but it's good enough, and it packs a pretty good punch when it connects. We'll look through here, and we'll see 120 to 200 standard penetration with 180 to 300 damage, and 182 to 304 penetration with premium. And I've had a lot of games where my average is in the high 2s, 260, 270, and that's pretty good at tier 6. I mean, until you start talking about, the Russian heavies and stuff. But it's really, you go hell down, get in a good sniper spot, let your camo go up, let your binocs come on, and sit there and just peg enemies. As you can see, the armor there, 13 millimeters all the way around on the hull. It will not bounce anything. Unless they make a mistake and shoot at your turret and it's angled a little bit. You might get a bounce once in a great while, but pretty much you're not going to bounce a shot. That's why, again, binocs, camouflage net, tank gun rammer. That means that you get a little bit faster reload, you sit back with the binoculars on, your camouflage net, and you snipe. Of course, obvious, the small and manual, just like everything else. Turret rotation, 16 degrees a second. Ugh. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. However, the speed limit of 70 kilometers per hour, 72, it's a fast tank destroyer. And it's definitely worth keeping. Definitely, if you've never played it, you should get it and have a blast with it. And the sister, and I say sister to it because it is definitely not as good, is the Jackson. And the Jackson is, well, not as good. It's the evil stepchild to the Hellcat. Better armor, but still not good for a tier 6. If you angle it, you can get some bounces. Not very often though, but you can. You notice I have a couple perks on my Hellcat and none on my Jackson because I don't play this tank enough to. I bought it just to have it, the twin to the Hellcat. They're not twin, but brother from another mother, maybe? I don't know. Whatever, insert whatever, saying you want to put in there. We'll look at the armor here, though. At the front, we have 114. What did the Hellcat have? 13. So yeah, a lot more armor. Still not great at tier 6, but still much better. Sides and back, 10 millimeters more than the Hellcat, 11 millimeters, whatever. And the guns are pretty much identical. You see I use less of the premium ammo in this one, and I have no equipment on it. That's because I don't play it. A lot of the tanks I've upped my premium ammo count in the last few months because I don't care anymore. I have the silver to pay for premium ammo. I'm gonna use it. You know, I'm not scared to be called a premium whore. Whatever. But the Jackson, yeah, I don't play it enough, and I don't really love the tank, but I don't hate it. And there's once in a while I'll take it out and just, you know, hey, just have a Jackson game. And it does okay when you play correctly. So, but still, it's not a heavy, and it's not something you want to take to the front line. So don't be mistaken and try that, because it won't last. I just purchased the Cromwell a month or so ago, probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and so far I'm liking it. The gun is giving me a little bit of a fit once in a while, but overall it hasn't been too awful bad. I think it's a little, I wouldn't say inaccurate, but like I've stated in one of my videos, you have to pretty much let it fully aim, or it will be inaccurate. It will misbehave if you don't let it fully aim. If you let it fully aim, it's reasonably accurate. I'm going to go 109 to 181 for penetration for standard shells, 152 to 253 for premium, APCR, HV, Mach 3. Smaller picket, small first aid, manual fire extinguisher. I have vents and gun laying drive. I also had, I think, I believe, something. I don't remember what I had for the other equipment. I took it off though because I needed some money. I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, it's not there anymore. 64 millimeters front armor, 76 for turret, and the sides and rear are pretty junk, like most tanks at this stage. 360 meter view range, 48 degree of turret rotation. So this one right here with a 650 horsepower engine, 64 kilometer per hour, 36 degree chassis rotation, and 48 degree turret rotation, and a 15.38 rounds per minute. This right here is made to play like a medium. Get out there, circle your enemies, and just keep on putting the lead into them. And it does pretty good at it. So if you play it like that, it works out pretty good. And so far, I'm happy with it so far. Never was going to go up the British mediums, but then I was like, yeah, you know something, screw it. Might as well start. I don't have to play it all the time, but it's worth playing. It's worth getting. Hopefully the next one is too. And we're going to go to the TOG. The mighty, mighty TOG. I'm going to make a song about the TOG. We are the TOG. The mighty, mighty TOG. Something to that effect. I don't know. I want to make a song, put in the video. Not that I can sing, but I had to find some. I had to do a lot if I want to make a song for this tank. I got to write the lyrics, find someone that can sing it, find the music. Yeah, maybe that's a bad idea. The TOG 2. People hate the TOG 2 because I think it's a piece of shit. And rightfully so, it pretty much is. But the TOG 2 can be a fun tank to play. So, it has no armor. 76 millimeters, 76, 76, 51 at the rear. 114 at the front of the turret though, so that's not too awful bad. Medium caliber tank gun rammer, binocs, yes, binocs, and a toolbox. Obviously the toolbox and the gun rammer are, you understand that on a tank like this. The toolbox, because if you get tracked, which you will get tracked, you got to get out of dodge quick. So the binocular telescope, for me, honestly, a lot of people want to play this tank like just roll slowly through everything and shoot everything. The problem is there's so many tanks that can just murder it now in the game so quickly. You know, you get the Russians which roll 300, it hits one of these and you're guaranteed a 300 roll, like in a KV-1S. I don't think you'll ever get the low roll of like 240 or whatever the low roll is on a KV-1S. You'll always get that high roll because the armor is just shitty and it's all flat surfaces. So 12 rounds per minute though, that's pretty good. 14 kilometer speed limit. It doesn't matter if you're going downhill or what, it ain't going over 14. Doesn't matter if there's a bunch of tanks pushing you, it's not going over 14. So yeah, I keep a toolbox on it because sometimes you need to back up and get out of dodge when you're damaged, and when you're in a TOG, people will aim right at you. I do it too. I just finished a game 25 minutes ago or so, And the person I was platooned up with was like, "Tog, Tog, Tog," and we just sat there and just we were 2 KV-1Ss, and we just obliterated him. Just boom, 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 and he was out of the game. Now you can have fun with 3 or 4 Togs in a platoon. That's a different story. But one lonely Tog is a Tog you play like a sniping Tog. You sit back with him binocs, and the gun will allow you to snipe, and that's what you do. I don't usually go heavy tanking in a Tog when I'm by myself. I sit back, defend the base, snipe as I need to. And I've had a couple games where I've had like 5 kills just defending the base when they come in. I had one game way back before I did any recording or anything, and I'm pretty sure, I think it was 7 kills in the Tog, and it was all like 7-on-1 at the end. They were all almost, not almost dead, but fairly dead. And they just kept on coming one at a time, and I just boom, boom, boom. So intense at the time, but, you know, looking back, it wasn't no great feat, but it was fun when it happened. So, the Tog, if you want a premium novelty tank, and you know a few people that have a Tog, a lot of people can tell you, "Oh, don't buy that piece of shit." But trust me, Tog is fun. Tog equals fun tank. The Burt, sort of like the Tog, the Burt equals fun tank. Not a particularly great tank, not a particularly bad tank, and one of the 2 artillery you'll see in my lists, because I hate artillery. But the Burt, I had to have the Burt and play it like, you play it like a light, play it like a medium. You know, play it like a artillery until you need to run out and shotgun someone. I don't know how many times I've actually been doing artillery and then some light is coming after me, and the minute he comes over the hill, oh shit, boom, and he's gone. Really not a great tank. It's sort of like the Tog. It's, yeah. You see, I have the artillery shell rammer. I have the camouflage net and the vents. I keep a repair kit, a small first aid kit. Don't bother the fire thing, because most of the time, once they hit you, you're dead, you know. Usually I don't ever use the repair or the first aid kit. I don't think I've ever, maybe once, even used them. So, it's one of those tanks where, it's a novelty tank, really. But I'm glad I have it, because what pisses a lot of players off at tier 6 or so, even tier 7, and even tier 8 at times, you're in a Tog, you're up somewhat close, you're only 300 meters away from them, 250 meters, you're hiding behind like a rock or down in a gully or a valley, and you just sit there and track them, 10 seconds, not even 10 seconds, 8 seconds or so later, track them. So many seconds, you know, the rate of fire is really good. I mean, you get almost 7 rounds a minute. That's a little under 10 seconds, excuse me, probably what, 9, a little over 9 seconds per reload. And it's fairly accurate, and it will do track damage, and it'll even, you plop one on the top of a lot of tier 6, tier 7s, and it will do damage to it. Just sometimes not a lot. You do get those 56 damage rolls a lot, so shit like that. But when it hits for an engine deck or something and penetrates, you'll do decent damage. So, and it's like I said, I've been in a few games, been in a heavy, and the Tog just keeps on pinging me, hitting my tracks, taking 100, hitting my tracks, taking 100, hitting my tracks, taking 60, you know, and they just peck you to death. Tog, I said Tog, didn't I? The Burt, the Burt is a little pecker. I know I made a mistake, but you know something, I do this live, the garage videos, it's not a commentary after the fact, so there's no way I'm going to go back and start this all over again. So if I make a mistake, you're going to have to deal with it. That's how it goes, that's how I roll. They see me rolling on my Segway. PZ4S Premium with the you know, I still don't even know what those are. Screens to keep the bugs out, I guess. I don't know. I assume they were there for a reason. They don't look heavy enough to... They're not heavy enough to deflect anything, so whatever. I guess to make it harder to do track maintenance. This is a premium tank that I bought. It's not really that good. It plays up to tier 8, and it's really overclassed at tier 8. 80 millimeters of armor on the front of the chassis. 120 at the turret. I keep on saying turret tonight. I don't know what the deal is. I haven't said turret for years. well, not years, but for quite a while. Turret. You notice I don't have any equipment on it because I don't play it enough. I still keep my repair kits and stuff on it because, hey, they're there. If I use the tank, I can have it. 113, 188 for standard, 146, 243 for premium. And the problem with this tank is it only does 100 to 170-ish damage. It just sucks. Really. You get 13 rounds a minute, but it's just, it's a really, really average tank. And doing it again, I probably wouldn't have purchased it. If I know now what I know, if I knew then what I know now, this is one premium I wouldn't have purchased. But, like I've said before, I'm not going to get rid of them. I purchased them and I spent money on them, so hey, it's just going to sit in my garage. VK3001D. I'm not even going to talk about this piece of shit. The only reason I still have it is because I want to go to the next tank, which is, what is the next tank? VK3002D, which leads to the Indian Panzer, which leads to the Leopard PTA, which leads to the Leopard 1. Yeah, this thing is junk. You'd think that, oh, this will bounce some shots. Look at that angling. Nah, it's junk. 60 millimeters of armor. Yeah, I don't care if you're angled or not. At the tiers this sees, which is up to tier 8, that's just not enough. It's not enough armor. The gun does not fire quick enough. It seems like 13 rounds a second 13 rounds a minute should be okay. It's really not. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It just sucks. This tank. Maybe I haven't given it enough of a chance. But it just seems like everything pens this. Them turret cheeks right there beside the gun mantlet. Boom, boom. Everything will go right through that. And there's no way to really stop it. You can turn your turret, I guess, a little bit. But then you give them more of a flat side, like right there. They can go right into the corner of the mantlet and the side of the turret. There's just nothing you can do with that turret. It just sucks. It sucks. It sucks. And the chassis is not much better. The hull is just, it looks like it should bounce a lot of shots because of the angling. But in playing it, the limited games I've played it, yeah. You got a shitty turret, you got shitty armor, you got a big cupola up there. It's just, and it's not fast. And it doesn't do any decent damage. It just all around sucks. VK3601H. Now, we went from a medium to a heavy at the same German heavy. This tank is completely opposite in everything than the 31D, and this tank is awesome. I've kept this tank. I don't play it very often, but this tank is just awesome. I've kept it all this time because it seems like every game I have in it, I do decent. There's a very rare game that I do horrible in it. I've actually used the crew. The crew in this was much better, and I actually went from this, put the crew into the Tiger, and moved right up through. I think it's probably the same crew that's in my E75 right now. And it all started with this bad boy, really. And this is where the tank got good. The German heavy line, to me anyways. I could be completely off from you guys. Don't know, but this is when I started liking the German heavies, right here. 100 millimeters of armor at the front, 100 millimeters on the turret, 80 on the sides of the turret, 60 on the sides of the chassis, 80 on the back of the turret, and 60 on the back of the tank. 99 to 165 for a pen, with 165 to 275 damage, and then you use the premium, and you go up to 128 to 214 pen. So that's a pretty big jump, 130 to 215 or so for penetration. It's a really good gun, and it's pretty accurate, really. I keep a gun rammer on it. I've taken my other stuff off it that I had before because the only one thing that I really like keeping on every tank is the gun rammer. I can get rid of the other stuff and play the tank without it, but it never hurts to have a gun rammer. But yeah, if you're going up to the German heavies, you should like this tank. It has its little weaknesses. It's got that big cupola up there, and it's got that flat armor on the front. But if you play it, I don't know how to explain it. It just seems like it plays a lot better than it should. So, here or there, maybe I've gotten just really lucky games in it. I don't know, but I won't get rid of it because it's a cool tank, and it works good, and I like it. The Dicker Max. the Dick Max. D-Max, baby. The big D. Piece of shit. Really. But if you play it like a sniper, and you sit way back, and don't get spotted, you can have decent games in it. But that's all I have to say about the Dicker Max. ARL 44. This thing is a beast at tier 6. Kind of big looking, huh? Got a big long barrel. Now, the gun on the French heavies, I've said this in some of my videos, this thing can fire with laser accuracy. When you aim and you got the little dot in the middle of the reticle, probably 7 out of 10 shots, this shot is going to hit right where that dot is. It's not going to stray at all outside of, you know, the dispersion area. It is going to be pinpoint right where you aim. So if you want to sit there and shoot at modules or cupolas or viewer hatches or ports, this tank can do it. 7 out of 10 fires. And then on the 8th one, it goes completely off the side and doesn't even, I mean, not even remotely. It like it comes out of the tank, and you've seen them videos, them laugh videos, and the guy is holding a shoulder-fired rocket, and he fires it, and the shell just comes out and drops on the ground. Plunk. That's this tank. 3 out of 10 shots. It just, and that's a theme that I saw with the French heavies. Either the gun was pinpoint, and then just a few shots every once in a while, it just misbehaves, and I don't mean misbehaves a little. I'm telling you, the shot goes 40 meters away from where you aim it. It's funny and it's sad, but a lot of the times the gun is horribly accurate, and I've kept the tank because I love it. Awesome's tier 6 tank. 120 for hull armor at the front, 110 for turret armor, and you get the crappy 30 and 50 on the sides and rear, but 159 and 265 for standard penetration. Just shy of 200 to 324 with the whatever the French use for, I don't even know what it is, but and they do 180 to 300 damage. So the gun really packs a wallop. You know, it's tanks like this that way back at tier 6, like the Sherman Jumbo was a really good tank, but then you get this tank in there, you got 324 pen with premium on the high. Even the Sherman Jumbo's armor, just, that's what's made the Sherman Jumbo and a lot of older tanks not obsolete, but a lot harder to play, because if you get in a match with a couple of these, they can really do a number on you. And the front armor at 120, and look at the sloping. It really can, some people say it doesn't bounce enough shots, but you know something? You angle this like this, and you come around a corner or whatever, they have to hit you in the tracks, because if they don't hit you in the tracks, it's just going to bounce off that hull every time. Even the lower plate is angled horribly. I mean, not horribly isn't bad, horribly isn't horribly good. And even straight on, where you're going to hit right there. You know, if you don't have a high pen gun that does, you know, if you have a gun that only does 100 pen, you're going to bounce almost any place in the front of that. You got to aim for them 2 little ports below the turret. I mean, really, if you want a reliable pen every time. So, ARL 44, great tank that leads to a piece of shit at tier 8. I still like the tier 7, but the tier 8 sucks. KV-1S, what can you say about the KV-1S? This is the monster. To me, I like this better than I do the KV-2, because it's so much more versatile. The gun packs a wallop. The armor will bounce shots. That turret will bounce a lot of shots. It's quick. It's mobile. It's got a monster of a cannon. And, you know, when you play with the derp cannon on it, you can have a blast. And guess what I have on mine? I'll show you what I have on mine. Hey, look at that. I have the derp cannon, the 122, which does 175 to 217 pen, 390 average damage. So yeah, it's awesome. Stealthy number wants me to join an Xbox. I'll join you in a little bit, Stealth. But yeah, we'll take a look at the stats here. 75 for armor at the hull at the front. So the front of the hull will not bounce a lot of shots without some good angling. But you keep the turret up there. You got 100 millimeters. You got the mantlet up there, which is, to me, it seems like it gives you a lot more than 100 millimeters of armor. I could be wrong. Maybe it just plays like that. I play this tank like a medium, really. This tank, if you like Russian mediums and you don't mind the reload time, this tank is a good tank. Of course, some of the Russian mediums, the reload time is that bad. The new China medium there, the reload time is that bad. So, and it's pretty much the same gun, I believe. But that one's at tier 8 though, so that's a little shitty. This gun can do tier 8s, it can. It's just much better at tier 6 and 7. 131 to 219 standard pen, 163 to 270 on the high end of the premium rounds. 293 to 488 damage. I was talking about the damage earlier. I was saying like the high 200s was the low, and I thought it was like 270 or 265 or something, but it was 293 for the low. But 488, you hit some tiers. I mean, tier 6, you come up against a Sherman Jumbo. You have a premium in there. His armor is not going to take that, and you're going to do 400 damage to him. I mean, you're going to take away half of his health in one shot. So this is another one of those tanks like the ARL-44 that have made tanks like the Sherman Jumbo and stuff a lot harder to play. KV-1S, there's just nothing you can say about it. This tank is awesome. And on the PC, I think they've taken away the 122 and changed the name to KV-85 or something. I hope they don't do that here. I'm sure they will, but this tank is awesome the way it is. I should play it more often, get some more videos in case they do end up doing that, so you're nostalgic. I think they should offer you World of Tanks, if they do that, offer you to keep this version of it or change the version to whatever the new one is. Give you the option. I worked hard to get this tank. I worked hard to get that gun. I worked hard to get the derp cannon on this tank. I don't want to give it up. I don't want to lose it just because they decide, well, we're going to change stuff. It doesn't need to be changed. You know what I mean? Leave it alone. Let the people that worked hard to get this tank keep it. You know? But I'm jumping the gun. Maybe they won't be doing it. I don't know. I just remember reading something about them doing it on the computer. Or they have done it on the computer, I think. So, oh well. KV-1S, I love you, man, and I hope they don't change you. And anyone that doesn't have this should get it now, because it's awesome. It's definitely worth playing, just to say, hey, I used to play the KV-1S. Awesome tank. And then we go to the KV-2. I've had some decent games in this. I have a video up where I did 1437 or something damage to a Tiger 2 in one shot. Ammo racked him and just kaboom. Tiger 2 down. I have the derp cannon on it now. Sometimes I play it with the smaller cannon, just because people don't realize the reload when they're not paying attention. They just think KV-2, ooh, slow reload, I can go around the corner. But if you're playing this one, which one is it? This one up here. With a 107, the reload time is... it doesn't tell me here, does it? Okay, well, it doesn't tell you the reload time, but you get a little over 6 rounds a minute, which is just over 10 seconds per reload. Then you get down to this one, and oh, you get under 3 rounds per minute. So, you know, if the person isn't paying attention and you shoot at them, and then it's like, oh, I can go get him now. They come around that corner, and then, oh, you've all of a sudden taken another 300 out of them. You know, this one does the damage. You know, 700, I understand. But, you know, it seems like I get a lot lower rolls than 700 with this. It's very rare that I get a 700 damage. And that's supposed to be average. It seems a lot more times you get a lot lower rolls now. And I could be wrong. I platoon up with Stealthy Number. Stealthy Number loves his KV-2. He loves taking it to tier 9 and 10 matches. And I'm like, I don't know how you can love that, but he does. He has good games too if you play it right. I'm just not so good with it as he is. But he has a lot more games in his than I do. But it can be fun. You know, equipment on mine, nothing at this time, because I don't play it enough. I needed the money to buy my equipment for my 112. I think I took it off this. But we'll look at this. Only 75 millimeters of front hull armor, 75 millimeters of turret armor, 75 on the sides, and down to 70 on the rear. So the armor at tier 6, yeah, it can bounce a few shots. Tier 8, it's gonna get raped. If you get seen at tier 8, you will get raped. However, if you're on a city map and you come around the corner and you find a Tiger 2, and you can put one right into the side of his ammo rack, the laughs are endless. Type 64. This is my last tank at tier 6. I just purchased this one. It just came out and I purchased it, and I'm not a light tank person. I have never pretended to be a light tank person. I've always stated in my videos I'm just not good at it. And I purchased this because I want to try to get good at it. This probably isn't the one I should be doing it in, but when I read that it had the turret of a Hellcat on the modified chassis of whatever it was, this tank, when you get up to 70-75 kilometers per hour in it, you can have a blast. But you got to be careful because anything will pen it, and it's kind of big, so I have limited games in it. I probably have 8, 9, maybe 10 games in it, and I've had a couple that I've got out and spotted and done really good, and a few more that I've got out and spotted and got my ass raped. So, you know, it was a premium. I bought the 112, and then I was gonna get the medium. I thought the medium, when I first looked at it, was a tier 6, and I was like, okay, that'll be, 7,000 gold or something, I'll buy that. And I logged on, and the medium's 12,000 gold, just like the 112. No. So I bought this one instead just to try it. It's fun. It's a fun little tank. The gun seems slightly inaccurate, or maybe not inaccurate. Maybe the travel time is a little long. Maybe that's what I'm feeling. It seems like I need to lead tanks a lot more with it, which is just something I'll just have to get used to. It's that soft stats and stuff like that, the shell arc and stuff. That's all stuff you get used to on a tank. And I think that's all I need to do with that, just get a little more used to it, and it can probably be a fun tank. I'll tell you what though, the fact that it only has 25 millimeters of armor on the front, turret, and bottom sucks. 13's on the side. Anything that sees up to tier 9, anything from tier 6 to 9 is going to pen this no matter what. If you get spotted, you're getting penned. Unless you get a miracle bounce, you're getting penned. And another problem with it is it's only got 96 to 160 average pen, or not average, that's the range, 96 to 160, or 133 to 221. Now, you need to run premium shells in this. I have 15 loaded. I'm going to actually up that to 20 premiums and 10, or 20 and 20, I guess, or 20 and 25. Jeez, do your math. Because you really need that extra penetration, especially when you only do 140 damage, 86 to 140. I mean, on a high roll, you're getting 144. So your average is about 100. And with 18 rounds a minute, you think, hey, that's, in a minute you can do 1800 damage, right? Yeah, a lot of them bounce. And as of right now, getting to learn the tank, I miss a lot with it. So, but I'm going to try to play it out and see what happens, see if I end up liking it. You can't go wrong when you have your crew's name is though In Bang Chen. In Bang Chen. What's my 112? Di Long Chen. And Bang Chen and Di Long Chen. Brothers. I love getting brothers for crew members. Look at that right there. I know that's not tier 6. Isn't that sexy though? Yeah, we'll get back to that later. Next video, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, next video. I might just do 7s and then do tier 8 premium. 7 and 8, but then do tier 8 premium separate. Well, let's see how it plays out, because I got a lot of tier 8 premiums, so. Hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, rate, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Tell me what else I should have in my garage. Tanks that you might have that you want me to review or want me to play and get some videos on. Shout out, let me know, and I'll try to get them up. As usual, when you're on that battlefield, shoot the red ones.